So welcome back to the second part of this series looking at the sketches in this little book. Just in case you didn't see the first part, I'll just very briefly explain. So I bought this book a few years ago and it's laid out to be able to do a sketch every day for a year, which was my initial plan, but I only actually managed it for 6 months. So I'm planning to do this 6-part series where I look at 1 month at a time for those 6 months. And I did also mention in my previous introduction that because I did these sketches before I'd ever even thought about sharing my artwork on YouTube, there are some things in there that are part of my day-to-day life which I wouldn't otherwise be sharing on my channel. So for example, there'll be occasional references to the job I was doing at the time, or also my religion, but those aren't things that I'm going to be talking about extensively. I'm only going to mention as much as is needed to clarify what's going on with the sketch. Also, anywhere where I've got people's names, I will cover it up. In the first video, I did that in the editing process, but that was quite fiddly to do. So this time I've put some just washi tape over the names. And my sketches were done in the form of kind of like a visual diary. So I just picked one thing from the day that I'd done to illustrate. And some of those illustrations are very literal about what I did. Other things are a little bit more cryptic or kind of symbolic of what I did rather than a literal drawing of what I did. Okay, so let's have a look at the second month. So on this first day of the second month that I was sketching, I made these 3 new glass beads, and also I used some older beads that I'd made to make these 3 little pairs of dangly earrings. And the next day was my mum and dad's wedding anniversary, so I took them out for a meal to this pub that has a boat sticking out the side. So the pub is actually alongside a canal, so they've made a feature of this canal boat sticking out. Now I don't know if this is a genuine real boat that's been repurposed or whether it was custom made specifically for the pub as kind of like for it being a themed pub. So this day obviously wasn't particularly exciting because the most interesting thing I could think of to draw was a pepper from my grocery shopping. The next day was a bit more fun because I had lunch with a friend, and this was my little dessert afterwards. Actually, I've got a feeling, if I remember rightly, we actually went back to this pub because I was saying how much I'd liked it when I'd been there with my mum and dad, so I went back with my friend for lunch. Domino's pizza for dinner this day, along with some Jack Daniel's cider. I hadn't even realised that Jack Daniel's made cider. I thought they only did whiskey. So there you go, I gave that a try. One of my ongoing battles with myself is keeping the garden up together because I hate mowing my grass. So as you can see from this picture, my grass was really long. And then obviously this is the bit that I've demonstrated that I've already cut. But even the bit that's cut is not very neat. Oh, this was a fun one. I got an old book and cut the centre out to make it into like a hidden compartment. And this day I tried a new technique with making glass beads where you sort of build up the beads in layers with like clear glass in between. So the idea is that you sort of do the centre of a flower and then a layer of clear glass, then a layer of petals and then clear glass, so that it kind of has the effect of a 3-dimensional flower. I didn't do it particularly well. This is obviously a sketch of the one which I thought was best. Actually, that's not right. I just noticed what I've written here. My drawing is what I hoped to do, not what I actually managed to achieve. And then on a different kind of crafting angle, I watched some various YouTube videos and learnt how to make a sliding knot on a cord necklace or for a bracelet. I can't actually remember how to do that. If I was going to do it again, I'd need to probably find those same videos and watch again. Then we had a very rainy day. I haven't actually got a rainbow coloured umbrella, so that was just to brighten things up a little bit rather than drawing a very dull rainy day. Following the rainy day, we had a cold day, and I've got a note here that it wasn't literally cold enough for a hat and scarf, but I did put the heating on, and this was in June, so wouldn't normally be expecting to put my heating on in June. And some more glass beads. So I'd bought these like beadable, I don't know the right term, beadable items from the glass supplier where I'd been buying my glass. So basically it's a bottle opener and a bottle stopper that unscrews, and then you can put beads on the shaft in between. This one makes me laugh. It's not a great picture, but I was out with a friend, and we quite often end up buying these toys or chocolates or whatever that have got like a surprise gift or toy inside, like Kinder Egg, that sort of thing. Anyway, this particular day we'd bought this, I think it was supposed to look like a little treasure chest that's got some chocolate in it. Anyway, my friend said to me, whatever toy you get represents your personality. And when I opened it and I've got a pig, she's like, see, I told you. We're still friends. And then back to the glass beads again. This day I made, I called them wine glass spangles, but I think most people would call them charms. And basically it's just like a little loop which has got a hook on the end, and you just put it round the stem of a wine glass or any other kind of glass that's got a stem, and then you kind of hook it back on. So for example, oh, my drink's the one with the green spangle around the bottom, or mine is the one with the red spangle, so that you don't end up in that situation where you're like, oh, is this your drink, is this mine, like where have I put my drink? So that was the idea behind those. And then here we've got some Nepali. So in the first video I mentioned that I'd been learning the Nepali language on and off for a long time, and in the introduction to this video I mentioned that there were some elements connected to my religion. So I'm actually a Jehovah's Witness, and that's not something that I intend to be talking about in my videos. I don't think YouTube is the appropriate place for that, but because this is in my sketchbook that I'm sharing with you, I kind of feel like I need to explain. So in addition to our normal weekly meetings, several times a year we have larger assemblies or conventions that have a particular theme. And obviously usually I'm going to those in the English language because I want to understand what's being said. But because I'd been learning Nepali, on this day I went to a Nepali language assembly. So the smaller text just literally says Nepali assembly, and the theme of the day was be strong, and this part means be strong, or literally strong bee. And then the next day we've got a different type of bee. So I was experimenting with making little animals out of glass. So I did a bee and a ladybird, or a ladybug, whatever you call it where you live. And this one I think the gas ran out before I'd finished it, so it's got no eyes, and its bum end is flat because I didn't get to finish shaping it properly. And the bee I mean, it was quite cute. And then I put the wings on, so I just used clear glass for the wings. But because I was fiddling around with it so long and it got so warped, and yeah, it ended up looking a bit of a mess. But, you know, I was still pretty happy considering it was the first time I'd tried to do anything like that. And then this day I had a delivery from the glass company supplier of these little glass chips. Well, it wasn't only these, there were other things as well, but this was the bits which I chose to draw. And it's called Marini. There are other names for it as well, but what I've written here is Marini. And basically it's like, you know, when you get a stick of seaside rock and it's got the lettering or the design all the way through the middle. Well, when these glass pieces are made, it's kind of like that, like it's made and then stretched out really thin so that these designs go all the way through the middle like the rock, and then it's cut into little slices which you then add to other glass products and melt in. So I'll just show you this little necklace that I made, this bead. So hopefully we're in focus. And each one of these little designs is kind of one of these like slices of patterned glass. So you kind of make the bead, put the little slice of glass on and then melt it in. So as you can see, they don't always, like this one, they don't always stay round, they just kind of melt in. But I just thought I'd show you that alongside this sketch so you can kind of understand a little bit what that is. Then I went back to the bee and I made a better attempt at doing the bee. This one's got little eyes and the wings were better. It didn't distort the stripes as much. Then we've got a couple here which are not quite so literal. This day I attempted making soap, and I've just got a note here, not a pretty outcome. So this is not what my soap looked like. This is just, you know, just like a stereotypical bar of soap just to represent that attempt. And then this day I was working on tidying up my garden and doing a bit of pruning. But please don't think I've got a bush in my garden that is pruned like this. I definitely haven't. It's just I thought it would be more interesting to draw. And this one, I don't know what I was thinking. It looks like I Roscoe, but this isn't supposed to be an eye. I just put that in to fill in the gap. So Roscoe, I did mention in my first video, but just in case you didn't see that, I don't know if you've heard of the radio DJ Emperor Roscoe. So I do a little bit of work for him, just very small, just send him some information each week that he uses in his radio shows. And this is just, I was just listening to some of his older radio shows while I was doing some housework. And back to the glass beads again. This is obviously a time when I was doing a lot of work with my glass beads, and it's making me think I want to get back to doing some more because I haven't done any for ages. And I've got a note here saying that I made 11 beads, including 2 licorice all sorts. A licorice all sorts something that you have where you live? It's basically like sweets that have got a little bit of licorice in. Obviously I've not been showing you every single thing I've made, but I thought I would show you these. So this is my little yellow one. This is the best side. On the other side, the black bit of licorice is kind of, whoop, it's gone a bit off centre. But yeah, I really like that one. And these are actually my favourites out of the bag of licorice all sorts sweets. The yellow one and the pink one like this. And then this little black and white one. So you can see that I put the black on afterwards. Like I've not built it up in 3 layers like the actual sweet would be. And the same here. The black is just a spot that I've put on the top afterwards. I've not actually done that all the way through like it is on the actual sweet. But yeah, and then I did actually turn these into a pair of earrings. and I can't remember what happened to them. The wire or something must have broken, and I've just got these loose again now. But yeah, I should make them into earrings again, because that was quite fun having they're sort of a pair but not a pair, if you know what I mean. So this day I went for a walk with a friend and we saw lots of lovely poppies, and then I just drew this after I got home. And then this day, friend, this is the same friend that with the little pig, where she said it suited my personality. So you just say we're still friends. She came and helped me do some more tidying up in my garden, and also I had a peony that had been in a pot for years, and I was scared to transplant it into the ground because I'd heard that they don't like to be moved, and she's just better with the garden than me, so she came and helped, and we moved the peony, and it's actually been thriving since we put it in the ground, so I was really glad that we did that. And this day is a little bit of a cryptic one, and it doesn't even really make sense. As I said, I've broken the record. Now, not a literal record, not a broken vinyl record, but up until this point I'd actually done every daily sketch on the correct day, and this is the first one where I'd actually drawn it the next day. So I missed this day completely, but then I came back and did this the following day. So I've just got a note here that up until this point I'd done 54 days in a row, which is amazing really. And then this day I made ginger cake at work. Oh, this was a sad one. Again, clearing out in my garden, and I came across a bird's nest with eggs in it, and I felt terrible because I thought I'd, destroyed the home of these birds, and I even got in contact with the RSPB, the bird charity, and they reassured me that at this time of year that is a nest that had already been abandoned for some other reason, not because I'd been ripping out the old dead honeysuckle where it had been made. And then this very odd shaped cheese grater is a day when I was making preparations for having another go at making some soap. So I was grating up like a big block of soap base, and also grating up some wax to make some candles. Although I didn't actually make them on this day, I was just getting prepared. This, which looks like nails, is actually sew-in pins. I went with some friends to a big shopping centre, and I'm not really one for shopping that much, to be honest, and all I came away with was a little box of pins. And then this day I did actually make some soaps and some little candles that I'd been preparing for a couple of days previous. And the soaps I made in these little rose shaped moulds, and I did a couple of different shades of, I think I did like a pink, a red and a purple, and they looked lovely when they were done, but something weird happened with the colouring, because the colour carried on developing, and over the next few days they ended up all looking almost black because the colour just kept getting darker. So I don't know what that was all about. I'm pretty sure I've not tried doing soaps again since then. Now if I want a bar of soap, I'll just buy a bar of soap. The little candles were a bit more successful. This one was in like one of those tiny little jam jars, and then this one is like a metal bottle cap, and the tiny little bottle cap candles burn for about an hour, but obviously you have to be careful because the base does get hot because it's metal and it's so close to the flame. So there you go, that was my second month of daily drawing. And I hope you enjoyed that little glimpse into my daily life. And we'll see you again soon for part 3.